Gonna make this live kind of brief today. I'm still on vacation. I'm at my third destination. Life is great. Let me tell you something. Living your best life, being able to go and do and be wherever you want to be and doing whatever you want to be is really the most awesome freedom. And I pray that each and every one of us is able to do that within our lifetime for as long as we're able to. But I would just like to say that this week I was on my budget for a vacation budget. I did not adhere to a 25 or 45, and I had a really good time. This is day like I think 12 of my vacation. Loving every minute of it. No, it's not 12. It's 7, 8, 9. It's 11, day 11. But the first part was the Miami trip and then the Aruba trip. And I had people guessing on TikTok and they did figure it out. They figured out the Aruba trip this morning. But the last destination, I haven't put out any feelers yet, but I am in a warmer climate. Excuse me, a colder climate. And I'm back on the East Coast. So I'm really excited about that. Let me say this. I put out a couple of things to help you get excited about the new year. And when I say that, being excited means taking control of your financial future for 2024. The things that you did in 2023, if they worked, continue to do them. But if they didn't, you need to come up with at least 3 ways in which you would change those habits and to turn them into good habits. So come up with some smart goals. And when I say smart, I mean specific. At what day, at what time, how much, and when, and why are you doing what you're doing? I will give you an example. I take out $200 per pay period, and that is for the 2026 Super Bowl that will be in California, right? So I'm getting ahead. It is just 2023. So I'm ahead of the game. That money goes into my Navy Federal account, a separate account. And now I'm not getting all excited. I just started this in November. But you start your goals for 2024 early because you have to set your mind up and say, look, this is what I'm going to do and start doing it. So, what is my goal? To have as much money. There's no specific amount because I really don't know what the tickets are. But I will be $200 per pay period ahead of time. And maybe about $10,500. Okay, looking at 52 weeks of the 200, because that's just how I'm just doing my girl math here. Now, $10,000 should get me in the game. It probably won't get me no hotel fees, but that's okay because now getting a hotel is gonna be a lot easier because I don't have to shell out $10,000 with that from scratch. I'll start working on the hotel close to the time, like maybe within 6 months in, because I'll have enough money for my ticket. Now I'm excited, and I guess you say, why are you planning so far ahead? Super Bowl is very expensive and it's hard to get in. I probably still will be in the nosebleed section at 10,500 because now 10,500 seems like a lot of money. But 2 years from now, I probably won't. But nevertheless, I have a specific goal. What? To go to the Super Bowl 2026. Second thing, I'm setting a specific amount. How much? It's measurable. It's $200 per pay period. That's the how often I'm going to do it. And is this attainable? Yes, because I have the resources to do it, right? And how am I going to hold myself accountable? I have an automatic draft. See, when you have an automatic draft, you cannot go wrong because that money is going to go over to that account and where I won't even think about it. It will just happen organically. Okay. Now, how am I going to figure out if I'm staying on course? Checking that account, making sure the money is over there, and just being happy about it. So, specific amount is 200 per pay period for the next 2 years to go to the Super Bowl 2026. Where? in California. And hopefully, I will still be living in California. That is my plan. And to be able to go to that. Now, the location is about 2 hours from my home. So it's not like I'm going to go and drive. So I will get a room for the night before, excuse me, the day of, because I don't want to drive back that night. So I will factor that in and food and gas, But the big part of it is $10,500 if I save 200 for 52 weeks. So I'm excited about that. And so if I'm setting a goal, I'm challenging you to set some goal, three financial goals that you will have for the year. And that is one of my goals. The second goal is I save 51K this year. So next year, by my birthday, I want to save another 15. That is another goal. And with that goal being about 15, excuse me, about 2,000 from January until the end of June. So, and that still will be like 12,000, but I'll end up getting a bonus and a raise or something. So I'll put some extra money in there. Also, we get an extra check in February. That'll make my 15,000. And so then I will have 76,000 saved. And that really actually will be a 1 year because I started in May of 2023 with saving. So that's my second goal. My third goal is not so much a financial goal, it is a personal goal to complete three heavy things on the chat. Now, so those are my three things. So let me recap. One, the $200 every pay period for the 2026 Super Bowl in California. The second thing is to save 1,200 a pay period, excuse me, a month, not a pay period, a month. So I will have the 15,000 by June 30th of 2024, which is my birthday. That's my second goal. And my third is to finish, to start the podcast. And I have like maybe two or three more little things to get that done. I have an engineer, she's already ready, lined up. And then the second thing is to finish my book. And the third is to publish my modules. I have a how to get out of debt type of how I did what I did module series that I will put forth. So those are the things that I need to have done no later than March. So that is my time frame. So really the book January, the podcast no later than February, and the modules no later than March. So I'm speaking this out. Debbie is the only one on here. So for accountability, Debbie is my accountability partner. So I've told you guys all the things that I'm doing for my financial breakthrough for 2024. Okay. Okay. Now, Debbie, would you like to share any thoughts about what you were going to do for 2024 when it comes to your finances? Okay. So while Debbie is working on that, I would like to say I'm thoroughly enjoying my vacation. I'm at destination number three, and it is wonderful. I also would like to say that I am not going to be so focused on the spending allowance after next week because the persons that are really engaged, they're sending me their emails, their texts, and I understand, what they're trying to do, but we didn't get a massive crowd. Out of 52 people, we might have only had 10 people to be consistent. And so I figure after 8 or 9 weeks, everybody has their goal. We'll talk about them, but not be so definitive on the lives because we really need to start going into budgeting. Um, how to really get a good budget to start it and to maintain it, and how you address things that come up along with your emergency fund. Okay, so Debbie says that her goal is planning to retire. That is excellent. Now, that is a very specific goal, planning to retire. So, the first thing Debbie will need to do is come up with some date range, 2 months, 5 months, a year, and set those goals up to do that more definitively. Looking at her home accounts to see what outstanding debts that she have, and how will that affect her if she does have outstanding debts towards her retirement. Is this a really good time to retire? So if she says in the next 6 months I want to retire, if she looks at her bills and say, that might be pushing it, I might need to push it back another 6 months, which will give her a year, and then she can start shaving off some things and planning and prioritizing, because the money is not 100% that you get. It doesn't match. Some people, it does. When they get their social security, it's like, oh, I have a good retirement. So, and another thing, she says, get a higher paying job. Oh, okay. After you leave that one, you get a higher paying job for the new one. Okay. But so she's doing something specific. She's looking at a higher paying job. She has her dollar amount, so that's specific. And she will have a time frame of when she want that retirement to happen. I have a good friend that is she did a 10-year plan, and she planned very well for her retirement, and very excited about that. And actually, she's going to put together something to share with people about how to retire, and how to plan for it. So this is good. And save hard in 2024. Get a higher paying job. Set up those goals, and also planning to retire. That is good, because we do plan to retire. We need to plan early. I'm on my trajectory now to do up at a 7 year point. I'm really trying to do 5, but more realistically in 7 years. But if I can kick off some of these things that I want to do, with these financial goals that I have, with that 75,000, if I can do that, I might be able to go out in 5 years. But so Debbie is on her trajectory to set her retirement plans, have some specific goals for that, to get a higher paying job, and to start saving hard. Okay, so start saving hard is vague. Okay, remember, we're doing specific, smart goals, and we need to be specific. What is your amount? Now, you don't need to put that in the chat, but whatever your amount is needs to be a specific. So remember, I said I wanted to save 15,000 within the next 6 to 7 months. Okay, so that is, and if she wants to set aside 50, is that 50,000 in a high year? Okay, your CD. Okay, excellent. So that's a specific amount. And then that, what is the time frame? Will you do that? We need to have a time. You not we. You need to have a time frame when you want that 50,000 in the high yield. Do you want it in a specific time, or do you want to have it by the time you retire? So those are getting more specific. Let me give you an example of what people do. They'll say, "I want to lose weight in the new year," but they won't say, "I want to lose 5 pounds a month for the next 6 months, and so I will have 30 pounds off." Then they don't say, "I'm going to get up every day and walk for 30 minutes around my neighborhood. I'm also going to decrease my meat consumption on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I'm going to increase my water, um, to half my weight in ounces, so I can flush my system. And I also will lay off the fried foods." Now, those are some realistic things, because they're not saying they're not going to eat fried foods. They're saying they're going to lay off it. So, and then they're going to eat less meat a couple of days a week. They're going to drink their water, and they're going to go walking every morning for 30 minutes around their neighborhood. Those are some specific ways. And then how are you going to measure those? You're going to get on the scale at least every week, just one time a week, and see if there's any progress. But I tell people, stay away from the scale, because you will have lost inches. You will have be able a whole pant size down before sometimes you even see it on the scale. So don't let the scale deter you. But I just want to give you an example of a very smart goal, very specific, measurable, and and something realistic. We don't say I'm going to lose 30 pounds in a month. That is so not realistic. Okay, but when you change your eating behavior, and you start watching your portions, and drinking your water, and doing some physical activity. But in order to lose weight, you got to be in a calorie deficit. So you need to know, being your age, your height, and all of those different things, and you could put that into the computer, and voila, it'll tell you how many calories per day. And also get you a Fitbit or some type of tracker. I love mine. I'm obsessed. Even on vacation, I'm keeping up, because we do a lot of walking. I've been keeping up with, and I've been doing at least 8,000 to 22,000 of steps, and that's really, really good. And so those are an example. That is a good example of setting a smart goal. All right, now back to Debbie. Debbie say one paycheck per month. She's gonna put aside towards her 50K in her high yield. Okay, after she's gonna sell her home. Okay, so that will be some increase. And it also will be decreasing your debt. So that is good. And increasing your money and decreasing your debt. And she said I was correct about setting goals and being very specific. Now the accountability part, that's where we miss it. When I get on TikTok, I have to be TikTok and YouTube, I have to be accountable because I'm saying things to a massive amount of people, and so I have to come back and do what I say. So with that being said, your accountability should be someone near and dear to you that's going to say, hey, I thought you said you were going to do this, I thought you said you're going to do that, and then make those things happen. And when you fall off the wagon, so if you ate wrong for a week, you don't just say, oh well, that's a bust, and start say I'm not doing it anymore. Just start back over the next week, and set yourself back. We call it resetting, and pick up those same goals and try to figure out what was the thing that you messed up on that got you sidetracked. So those are some good examples. All right, so I am super excited about what Debbie. If anybody else is on the line, would you put something in the chat? Now, I think it's very important how you're looking at this, Debbie, because you've grown since we've been, this is about the ninth week now. You've grown so much in being a purposeful and attentive and just acknowledging the things that you want to change. So selling the home and, making sure that you have 50K, that will be a lot easier because you have real money that you can turn, that asset can turn into real money. And then you also say, I'm going to stretch my faith and I'm going to take one check per pay period and put over into my savings. Now, do you have a special place that you're going to put that 5K or the 50K in that high yield? Do you have a special place? Because we want to make sure that it happens organically, like simultaneously when you get the check. Are you going to manually put that money over there, or are you going to have an allotment? I have that allotment for that $200. That's just an example of that way that you know that that money will go over there. And we want it to stay in there for at least what 6 months to a year, so you can get that high year interest rate that is good, whatever you set it to be. If you say you're going to do it for 6 months or to a year, or you can even do 24 months, but whatever you set, that will be something that you could see, and you can see your interest. Now, hopefully those dividends that you make, that you'll roll it back over, and so you continue to get more and more. And that's what I did. I have never taken anything out. That's why I'm at like 51 and some change in there, 51,000 and some change, because I just keep letting it, all my interest, just keep letting it go in there. So that is excellent, excellent, excellent. I am excited about this, Debbie. I am excited because now you will be able to see where your money is going, how you're gonna maneuver with the selling of your home, and then that will decrease your debt. Yes, an allotment. That is exactly right. So you go through your my pay and set that allotment, and it just goes over, and it goes over in a one pay period. It's not taking 2 and 3 pay periods anymore. As long as you don't do it around a holiday. For some reason, the holidays just gets everything all janky. But that's good. So she has a specific way that she'll make this money come out of her check every one pay period a month. Yeah, and otherwise you will slip. Yeah. So when we're serious, we find ways that we won't be able to get out of it. We always want some excuse. And if we want to save money, I get so excited when I see that money in there, Debbie. I get so excited. Sometimes in the middle of the night when I can't sleep, I say, you know what, God, this is a miracle to me. 51,000 saved in like 5 or 6 months. That is really good. But coming to California to make a financial difference in my retirement and utilizing those resources that God has afforded me is really the exciting part for me. And then being able to share that, and hopefully that will spark. And see, Debbie is sparked with you. Jill, she's doing some changes in her finances, especially with her savings, and that gets me excited because we want to do this together. We don't want to just be the only one. We want to share the love, and we want to share the successes of each and every one of us. As nurses, we make the money, but we need to make sure that we're accountable and we have that money to the side when it's time to retire. So that is great. You got an excellent plan going here, Debbie, and I'm excited for you. Now, Debbie, I'm single. Debbie has a husband, so she has to kind of run some things by her husband just to make sure that they're on the same wavelength. And I always try to make sure I let people know I am in my singleness, but I respect the marriage bed, okay, and I respect the marriage commitment. And so having someone to run things by, to say, okay, are you in agreement? Because sometimes when somebody say I'm taking $1,200 a pay period a month to save for such and such, they might be like, wait, hold up now. I don't know if we need to do 12. Maybe we could do 8 or 7, and then you have to come to a compromise. So, and you have to be respectful of that. So that's really, really good that you do have someone to do that with. So that is a blessing, a great blessing. Well, we're gonna go ahead and recap. We're not gonna hold you today. Like I said, I'm on the third destination for my vacation, and really enjoying this, like 12, 11, 12. Excited. But we will not be doing the spending allowance. We're just going to go ahead and squash that because the people that are working on it, they're working on it. We'll bring it up. We'll talk about it, but it won't be that I'm going to be stressed out trying to maximize or use that 25 or $50 because I'm going full force with my business, and I'm going to have to use some money to get some things done. The other thing is we're setting 3 goals, right? 3 goals. Oh, that's right. Debbie says that's true. 3 goals, 3 financial goals. What are your three financial goals that you didn't do in 23 that you want to do in 24 to elevate your financial goals? So one is saving. You got to have an emergency. If you don't have $1,000 in your emergency fund, that is should be your first stop. Do not start your debt reduction. Get some money in the bank because a rainy day will come. The next thing is set yourself up for a spending allowance when you're doing that budget. You need that spending allowance, okay? Because it will control your spending. The third thing you need to do is set up a goal as to how you're going to pay off your debts with your budget. So when you make that budget and you see how much you have going in and how much you have going out, and if you are in the negative, that means you either need to find ways to emergency fund in its place until you get yourself under control. Acknowledge that you have issues. We all do. Figure out what your stronghold is and make those personal sacrifices for your financial future. Now that you have that $1,000, you will look and say, I don't need the Netflix. I don't need the Hulu. I don't need to spend so much on my grocery. I'm going to decrease that. And we're going to downsize some of these grocery bills. Right. When you do that, that's extra income coming. So now you're not the negative. Those small sacrifices will get you back to the positive. And then you can start your debt reduction. How is that? You start with that lowest bill, right? $200. You pay $10 a month on that. You're going to do $50 a month. In 4 months, that bill will be paid. And then you will go to the next bill. That's your snowball. Those are the goals that you want to set for your debt reduction. You're paying the minimum. You're not missing payments or payments on the rest of those bills, because what you want to still get a good credit score, right? You want to continue to pay on time and show yourself a faithful servant, those lenders, all right? Because you'll need some money or something. Maybe you want to get a house, maybe you want to buy a car. You'll need to do that. So spending allowance is a great way to see your money not disappear. Yes, to see where it's going and it not disappear. So thank you so much for that, Debbie. I just want to say to you guys, these principles are very easy. They're they're very easy, and they're simplified. So acknowledge what you have coming in and what you have going out. Make that budget, set up your weekly allowance to what you'll spend, and then set up a day once a week. You'll look at your money and you'll make your decision about how you're going to spend everything that's on your budget. And then you will start your emergency fund. What? Your emergency fund. Yes. Your emergency fund. Start putting everything extra in that emergency fund. Once you get at $1,000, then you start your debt reduction with your loans. Not so concerned about the percentage of interest. Some people, if you want to do that, start with your highest percentage. just won't see your win as quickly. If you start with your lowest bill amount, then you can pay that off and see your win in immediately. My goal for you guys, and I'm setting a goal for you guys. By March, your first bill will be paid off by March. Your first, if you start your debt reduction and working on your emergency fund by March, you will have an emergency fund, or by March, you will have your first debt reduction. One of the two, okay? But you've got to make sure that you have that $1,000 emergency fund. And the rest is just keep going. Come up with your three things. What are your three things that you're focusing on in 2024? Once you make that a reality, write it down. Tell people about it. Set up all the what ifs could happen, and don't let that money or those actions get a part of you or get away from you. The other thing is, instead of letting someone give you a gift, say, I have a $400 bill. You want to buy me a $200 pocketbook. Can I get that $200 and put that on that bill? And that's $200 less that I have to pay on that bill, because I'm a new and improved person. I'm about debt reduction. I'm not about spending anymore. I'm going into my financial future, and I know who I am, and I'm not spending every dime that I have. And if you want to love on me, I need you to love on me and help me to get out of debt. Yep. If you see me spending crazy, talk to me, call me out. But don't spend no money on me crazy. No, we're going to eat in. We're not going out to eat. We're going to take those $50. We're going to put on that $200 bill. Say, what? We're going to put on that $200 bill. We're going to get out of debt. That's what we're going to do. 2024, we are going to be different. You're going to get out of debt. You're going to have an emergency fund. You will start saving for your financial future. That is what it's all about. Yes, 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 and amen. 2024 is your year. Forget 23. No matter what happened, you're going to make changes, some specific, measurable changes in your life. You're going to shout it from the rooftop. I am going to be consumer debt free. I am going to work on my finances. I am going to work on my savings. So have an emergency fund. I'm going to stop spending all haphazardly. I am going to love myself enough to sacrifice for a future that I desire, to have a nice future, to retire. I'm tired of living paycheck to paycheck. I want to live an abundant life. I want to have money in my savings. I don't want to be scared to pick up the phone because the bill collectors are calling. I don't want to be scared to get in my car thinking I don't have enough gas to get to work because I'm 4 more days and then I'll get paid. No, I want to have more than enough, more than enough. I want to live in abundance. I want to live in overflow. I do not want to be in lack. And how do we do that? We start by forgiving ourselves and setting up a plan, realistic plan to be out of debt. Debt-free life is what it's all about. So today is the day. Forgive yourself, make that decision, and girlfriend, boyfriend, we're going to make it happen. 2024, write the vision, make it plain. Though it tarry, it will come. It will come. You will do the work. Do the work. Get out of the old and start with the new. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things become new. You will be debt free. You will have emergency money. You will not be living paycheck to paycheck. You will be the woman and the man that you desire to be. Forget what mama didn't teach you. Forget what daddy didn't teach you. Today, you're going to be free. Financially free. All those things are past. You are a new creation in financial abundance. 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 Say it. Abundance. Say it. Abundance. I am living in abundance. I am no longer living in poverty. I am no longer living in fear and doubt. I am living in abundance. That's what you delight. Overflow. Yes, money coming from the north, the south, the east, and the west. And your promotion is coming. Your raise is coming. Yes, that education is coming. Money for your school is coming. Believe that. Stand on it. Stand on it. Pray and fast and believe that those things that you desire will manifest. 2024 is your year. I love you guys. I love you. Do not be around doubt. Don't say what you can't do. You don't limit yourself. You are able to do exceedingly and abundantly of all that you can think or by the power that work on the inside of you. You got to start first. You start first and the blessings will overflow. They will run you down and take you over. Love you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day. See you next week. Love you. Overflow, blessings, abundant. Overflow, blessing, abundance. Overflow, blessing, abundance.